following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. Welcome to a Top 5 Tuesday edition of Main Street Sports. Today we'll be joined by 24/7 Sports Wes Rucker, talk all things Vols, the Big Orange, and later visit with our regular weekly guest, Chip Walters of Blue Raider Network, as MTSU. Another big win last night for the Lady Raiders. We've got scores, schedules, of course, from high school sports, a lengthy rundown coming up, and more on the Titan Stadium deal. Yeah, right here on Main Street Sports today on this Top 5 Tuesday, March 29th, 2022. Now to the Hall of Famer and Sports Writer of the Year with the Sundrop Kid from Alabama. Here's Mo and Chris.
Welcome in. It is a wonderful Tuesday. Kind of chilly out there, but also could be worse. So I'm not going to complain. Hope you guys are having a great day. Mo, I see you're wearing your sweater today and a nice shirt and tie. So, are you interviewing for another job, or how much longer are we going to have you, man?
I think you're stuck with me for a while. No,
okay.
I had someplace I had to be earlier today, but it was not job related. So,
okay. I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
No, if you...
No, we're like I said, you're stuck with me for a while. So.
We'll take it. We do have a great show. Wes Rucker coming up here in just a few moments, and of course Chip Walters in the second hour. We've got our Top 5 Tuesday, and the only one we have Overrated Foods today because it was there and we didn't make a decision yesterday. So Overrated Foods it is. And so that food on this show is basically, you could call this a sports and food show. I mean, if we're being honest here. So,
okay.
Yeah, there's no question. So we'll get to that as well. Titans Stadium, I want to dive a little more into it because we didn't get a chance to really give our take on it yesterday when we spoke with Joe Rexroad. So we'll get into that as well. But before we do anything, we need to give you schedules from yesterday and scores from yesterday, today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
Let's do it.
This is your Tuesday Rundown brought to you by Jim Davis at Grow Live Give. Visit them at growlivegive.com or give them a call at 615-682-0022. Securities offered through IFP Securities, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, IFP member, FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through IFP Advisors, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, Registered Investment Advisor. IFP and Grow Live Give are not affiliated. All right, buckle up. Here we go. High school baseball from yesterday. It was Zion Christian over Perry County, Camden County over Westmoreland. Joe Burns defeated Greenbrier. Lincoln County down Lawrence County. Page over Spring Hill. Riverdale over Wakanda of Illinois. Rockvale over Lauderdale County from Alabama. Siegel defeated Maryville from Ohio. It was Smyrna 17-0 shutting out Antioch. Stewart's Creek over Laverne. It was Fairview defeating White House Heritage. Giles County by 10 over Mount Pleasant. Lewis County over Loretto. McGavick defeated Hillwood. Mount Juliet down to Wilson Central. Centennial over Brentwood. Franklin defeated Hillsboro on Monday. Overton fell to Henry County. Overton also fell to Glenbard East from Illinois. Nolensville shutting out Columbia Central yesterday. Ravenwood over Blackman. Summit shutting out Independence. Clarksville falls to Northeast by a run. Rossview 14-1 over Springfield. Good Pasture 8-0 over Clarksville Academy, and DCA shut out Ezel Harding. High school softball from yesterday. Columbia Academy over Cherokee County from Alabama. They also defeated Hartsville from Alabama, so a nice doubleheader there from teams from Alabama for Columbia Academy. Summertown down Forest yesterday. Stewart's Creek over Community. Lawrence County defeated Marshall County under the lights in Lawrenceburg last night. Green Hill 9-7 over Westmoreland. It was Mount Pleasant with a pair of wins over Decatur Heritage, Alabama, and Barnyard from Wisconsin.
Yeah, I had no idea how to say that. I was like,
is that a Y or a V? Barnevald?
It's Barnevald.
Barnevald. There we go. Barnevald out of Wisconsin. Anyway, Mount Pleasant shut them out. They won. Franklin County 5-4 over Columbia Central. Waverly 22-6. That's right, 22-6 over Fairview, and Springfield shut down in Gallatin yesterday. On the pitch, boys soccer, Lebanon shuts out Watertown 4-0. Westmoreland 4-1 winners over Jackson County, and Station Camp 9-0 over Maplewood. In women's basketball, the WNIT Elite 8 round, it was MTSU 73-71 winners in overtime over Toledo. They advanced to the Final Four of the WNIT coming up, I believe, Thursday. NBA action. The Grizz hosted the Golden State Warriors and did not give them a warm reception. 123-96, the Grizzlies over the Warriors. High school baseball today. Busy schedule. 2 p.m. first pitch, so should be underway any moment. Brentwood Academy, Lipscomb Academy. At 4 p.m., Station Camp will take on Hunters Lane. 4:30 first pitch includes Smyrna at Antioch, Summertown hosting Overton, Hillwood at NBA, and Clarksville Academy is at Goodpasture. At 5 o'clock today, Innsworth will take on Pope Prep, and Providence Christian will welcome Columbia Academy. 5:30 first pitches include Franklin Christian and Zion Christian, Richland and Hampshire, Ezel Harding, and DCA. At 6 tonight, Lawrence County welcomes Lincoln County. Riverdale hosts Maryville from Ohio. It is Siegel hosting Lake Park from Illinois. Santa Fe at Collinwood, Wayne County, Colioca, and MTCS welcomes Cane Ridge. 6:30 first pitch tonight, Page at Spring Hill. Stewart's Creek at Verne. Oakland welcomes New Trier from Illinois. It is Ravenwood at Blackburn. Joe Burns at Greenbrier. Loretto travels to Lewis County. Mount Pleasant hosts Giles County. Nolansville at Columbia Central today. Northeast at Clarksville. Springfield at Rossview. Northwest at West Creek. It is Father Ryan at CPA at 7 tonight. Henry County at Rockvale. Beach at Gallatin, Fairview, and White House Heritage, Cookeville, and Wilson Central. And a couple of other games. No time listed. Cannon County, Westmoreland, Brentwood at Centennial. Check your local front offices for first pitches.
Good luck with that.
High school softball today, 4:30. Hunters Lane at Gallatin, Lipscomb Academy at Brentwood Academy. It is Davidson Academy at DCA. 5 o'clock, first pitch in the circle. Fayetteville at Zion Christian. Westmoreland hosts East Robertson. Greenbrier at Creekwood. Loretto hosts Giles County. Macon County and Portland. White House Heritage takes on Fairview. Nolansville travels to Columbia Central. Ravenwood is at Summit, and Ezel Harding will be at PGA. 5:30 this evening. Stewart's Creek at Antioch. Summertown at Forest. Joe Burns hosts Logan County from Kentucky. Dixon County will be at Mount Juliet. Clarksville hosts Stewart County. Springfield at Northeast Independence at Dixon County. At 6 tonight, it is Station Camp at McGavock. Richland at Summertown. Joe Burns at Northwest. And at 6:30, Green Hill at Cookeville. And then the Gulf Shores Classic today, just underway. Mount Pleasant should be taking on Ardmore from Alabama. Columbia Academy at Pleasant Grove at 4. Mobile Christian will also be Mobile. Excuse me, I'm running through Mobile Bay, Mobile
Yes.
Christian at 8 o'clock tonight, taking on Columbia Academy. It is Mount Pleasant taking on Foley from Alabama at the Warrior Classic at Riverdale. Rockville at Community. That was this morning. Lauderdale County, Alabama takes on Community. Should be underway at 1. On the pitch today, Lawrence County hosts Page. Loretto's at Spring Hill and boys soccer.
Scottsdale.
Scottsdale, thank you. That's 5 o'clock first touch. Later on, it is 6 o'clock. White House at Greenbrier, Nashville Christian at CPA. West Creek at Clarksville at 7. Kenwood at Dixon County also at 7. College baseball today. Also P at Evansville, 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Lipscomb and Vanderbilt at 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus. That game at First Horizon Park. MTSU will be at Tennessee Tech in Cookeville. ESPN Plus. In AIA, 2 p.m. first pitch, Cumberland and Milligan. College softball today. Austin P and Murray State, 2 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Also on ESPN Plus, Tennessee State at Belmont. That's 3:30 first pitch. NAIA, Lane College and Cumberland. Doubleheader began at 1 o'clock. Same for Columbia State and Alabama A&M. Also a doubleheader. And Nashville at home at Bridgestone taking on Ottawa. 7 o'clock on the ice. Puck drop at 7. That is your Tuesday rundown brought to you by Jim Davis, GrowLiveGive.com.
Cumberland was leading Lane College 3-1 at last check in the second inning. So
The Dragons.
I have. Oh, that's right. They are the Dragons. Those are the unique names in the NAI.
Fire breathing, baby.
Man, what a great show we have coming up, and some exciting stuff to talk about, but we need to take a break to do so because Wes Rucker joins us on the other side of the break to talk about the top-ranked Tennessee Vols. So stick with us here on Main Street Sports Today. We will be back after this. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Oh, welcome back in on this Top 5 Tuesday here on Main Street Sports Today. I'm Chris Yao along with Mo Patton. JP Plant on the controls, making sure that we look decent, sound great.
Don't put that on me about you looking decent.
Oh, I meant the...
You guys do look good today.
Does a fine job. And also make sure that we get our guests in on the air. So glad to have Wes Rucker of 24/7 Sports, not 27 Sports, although there probably are 27 Sports on the
27 outs, maybe.
There you go, 24/7 Sports. Yeah. And I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about the top-ranked UT Vols baseball team, but we might want to get some other thoughts as well. So let's bring him in. Wes, what's going on? How are you?
Always a lot going on, fellas, but it's not such a bad day today. Hope you're doing all right.
We're doing well, Wes. Appreciate you taking some time from an obviously busy day, again, to talk about the top-ranked Vols coming off of their sweep down at Oxford this past weekend. I think UT was ranked number 1 in a poll or in some polls going into that one, but they were number 5 in the D1 baseball poll. Ole Miss was number 1. And to quote a meme, and I took that personally.
Clearly.
It looked like Tennessee really went in there with a chip on their shoulders, and it was firmly planted right until the end on Sunday.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mo. I mean, I think that they, going into this season, Tennessee was ranked in every poll, but it was ranked kind of in maybe the high teens, some areas around there. And, speaking of taking things personally, I think the Vols took that personally. They obviously got rated by the MLB draft last year, but they returned a lot of talent too. And they brought in a really big recruiting class, including a couple of guys who probably should have gone pro or had had good chances to go pro, but didn't do that. Chose to go to Tennessee, and so they felt like going into the season they were a really good team again, and they felt like they weren't getting respect, which is sort of the Rodney Dangerfield sort of mentality that helped rise that program in the first place. Nobody respects us, nobody thinks we're anything, and that's always been a powerful motivator in sports. It was at the beginning of time. It is now. It will be in the future. It's just kind of one of those things you can kind of stick on a wall to motivate yourself. And even going into Saturday's game, after Tennessee blew their doors off in the first game, you had that Ole Miss pitcher come out and say, well, they play in a small ballpark, so we thought we could pitch aggressively. And, we made some mistakes. I guarantee you we'll beat them tomorrow. Well, Tennessee's players' entire team was made aware of that text, or made aware of that quote in a text message, like 30 minutes after it happened. And that really motivated them going into the next day too. And they put a 10-3 on them. And then they held on the next day and beat them again. And yeah, I mean, I think that there's always been a chip on the shoulder of this program since Vitello got there. That's kind of their mindset, and it works for them.
Well, they certainly reacted better to being underranked than another Orange team did to being underseeded. But I guess we'll just
digress.
Whistle past that.
Please do.
But
you're not wrong, though. You're not wrong.
This Tennessee team sits at 23-1 overall, 6-0 in SEC play, and we'll get more into what awaits them this weekend here in a minute. But if you're a UT fan, you have to be really excited about what Tennessee has done over these first 24 games when you consider that at the end of last season, the guy who would have been considered their best returning pitcher has yet to throw a pitch in a game. Blade Tidwell from Loretto has been sidelined with an arm issue, and these guys have rolled without him. I mean, where does he fit in, Wes, when he comes back?
That's an excellent question. And, I think Vitello keeps being like, oh, that's going to sort itself out. That's going to sort itself out. Because I just don't know if he knows right now. And the other thing is, another guy who was probably going to be a weekend starter, Seth Halverson, the transfer from Mizzou, who got drafted last year but still decided to make the transfer and go to Tennessee to up his draft stock. He hadn't thrown a pitch this season either because he's also had an arm injury, and he's supposed to come back maybe in a couple of weeks. And I think they'll probably just slot him into the bullpen because he's got stuff that could, 100-mile-an-hour fastball that could really, really play nicely out of the pen and maybe mitigate some of his control issues. But to answer your question with Tidwell, I mean, it's a great question, and I don't know. When you look at the numbers of those 3 weekend starters, who do you bump out of there? It's not going to be Burns. It can't be Chase Burns, right? I mean, that kid's just phenomenal. But
speaking of 100,
it can't really be Drew Beam. It can't be Drew Beam on Sunday really either. And then the other guy just so happens to be the reigning SEC, pitcher of the week, who also throws about 100 miles an hour and has a ridiculous strikeout to walk ratio. I don't know how they play this. I mean, I guess the easiest thing to do would be to have Tidwell have a few long, games out of the bullpen to kind of build his arm back up. But he's already kind of been throwing bullpen sessions to get ready. Like, you don't just throw him out there cold to begin with. So he was in the bullpen for the weekend against Ole Miss. They got him warm on Sunday, but didn't use him in the ninth. Maybe they bring him out of the pen a few times and kind of let the thing play itself out. But I don't know. I mean, it is a tough question. It's a great problem for a coach to have, but it is by definition a problem.
Well, and just obviously with a couple of guys who are throwing close to 100, I mean, are they options for just strictly closing?
No, that's a good question because Redmond Walsh, their closer, who throws, about a mean 86-mile-an-hour heater. He, but he's a guy who's, his career ERA is like below 2, and he's the one who gets the big outs late in big games. He's done it basically his entire career. I mean, he went in there and struck out Tim Elko, late in the game against Ole Miss there on Sunday, and the guy just gets out. He's kind of got one of those Bugs Bunny changeups, and he gets out. So, and then, you've also got Ben Joyce out of the bullpen, who is the guy who throws 104 miles an hour. So, I mean, again, it's a great problem to have. But and I'll say this too: it's easier when you're winning, right? If you're 23-1, it's really easy to keep guys in line and keep guys motivated. But if you lose a couple games here and there, that's where it becomes, as much about man management as it does about baseball management. I mean, you're going to have to take a guy who probably does not deserve to be in the bullpen, and you're going to put him in the bullpen because you got no choice. The other option is putting him in there as a midweek starter, which, is something that a lot of guys would kind of not love to do. But the guy that's got doing that now, Xander Zegras, is also really good. So, again, no matter which way you slice it, it's an issue. I think they got to put Tidwell in the rotation. I just don't know where.
As you talk about this Tennessee pitching staff, there is a common theme there. A lot of guys throwing in triple digits, and Tidwell is right in that mix whenever he does get back. I mean, that kind of velo, regardless of who you're putting on the bump, Wes, is got to be a little intimidating.
Yeah, it plays, right? I mean, they say defense and rebounding travel in basketball. Well, I'd say velocity travels in baseball. I mean, it both sort of literally and metaphorically. It travels, and if you're effectively wild with that, it kind of makes guys uncomfortable in the box. It makes all your breaking stuff even more devastating. They've just got a lot of guys who pump the velo and they're really high. And then they've got guys who also are hitting like 450-foot homers on offense. I mean, the unsung hero in this program was Quentin Everhart, the strength and conditioning coordinator who came with Vitello to Knoxville 5 years ago. And he just got hired 2 months ago by the Chicago Cubs to be their head strength and conditioning coach. And as a lifelong, deep in my family Cubs fan, boy, that made me happy because you want to hear a fun fact? Tennessee's pitching rotation, the average fastball is like 3 miles an hour faster than the Cubs' average fastball.
Goodness
right now.
Gracious.
It's crazy. And this is TrackMan data, like officially tracked. And Tennessee's also got like 18 more home runs than any team in college baseball. It's bonkers. And so
– And they don't just hit them at home, contrary to popular belief.
Yeah, they hit 5. Yeah, they hit 5 there in that opener at Ole Miss. I mean, they've got, guys like Beck and Lipsius and even freshman Christian Moore, who looks like he should be a safety on the football team. I mean, these guys, it's funny every time that you see like an opposing team's kind of, their SEC network crew or one of those guys call a game, they talk about going down to BP and just sort of being wowed by the physical size of Tennessee's guys. They look like men. And that is probably why they throw the ball and hit the ball as hard as they do, because they're massive. They really do look like kind of a scaled down football team. And you see some of the size of those guys physically, and you see why they do it. And that was a big part of that was recruiting, but also Quentin Everhart. And as a lifelong Coach fan, I got to tell you, I'm not hating that.
Speaking with Wes Rucker of 24/7 Sports here on Main Street Sports today, talking a little UT baseball as the top-ranked Vols get ready to come to Hawkins Field this weekend for a 3-game series against currently ranked number 9 in D1 baseball, Vanderbilt. And Wes, as we are based here in Columbia, and you're talking about this Tennessee offense that outscored Ole Miss 26-7 in that 3-game series, we would be remiss if we didn't ask you. Former Columbia Academy standout Kavaris Tears has not gotten an at-bat this year, and you and I chatted a little bit over the weekend about that. Give us an update to the best of your ability regarding KT.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Mo, they love him. The few times I've asked about him, now it's been about 2 weeks since I've asked about him. But everything that I have heard about him since he's been there has been good. In fact, some of his BP numbers were just astounding. I mean, they talk about they track all the exit velocities and things like that. They love him, especially as an offensive prospect going forward. The problem is, who do you take out of the lineup? Because if you're taking out Luke Lipsius at first base, who you're putting in? Blake Burke, a guy who, hit about a 455-foot home run last week. went to Mater Dei in California, was one of the best prospects in the country. And then if you don't put him in, then are you putting Logan Steenstra over there, who also is a guy who's going to get drafted? They've just got a lot of talent right now. They really like Tiers, but they just don't have a place either in the outfield or first base to put him right now. So I think the plan has been to redshirt him. And if you'll notice, a couple other guys too, like Kyle Booker, a kid from the Memphis area, who is, I think, a hell of a prospect. He's a guy who played a little bit last year, started some last year. But this year, he didn't have a great camp preseason-wise. He was kind of erratic offensively. And he wasn't active for the roster last week. So, I mean, I think they're going to redshirt Tiers. I think they're going to see where things go in the offseason, but they really, really like his potential. And with another big offseason in the strength and conditioning program, maybe a summer ball in one of those summer leagues across the country, getting more at bat. I think they really like him going forward. He's always going to be pressed for playing time if Tennessee keeps recruiting like this, but they brought him in for a reason. He wasn't like we're bringing him in because he's an in-state kid or he's a nice kid or yada yada. Like, they think he can play, and I think that he will play. It'll just be down the road.
There you go. Wes Rucker of 24/7 Sports. Wes, before we get you out of here real quick, just want to get your quick early thoughts on spring football. How are the hype kids doing?
I think they're looking fine as far as I can tell. I mean, we're out there a good bit. Some of the guys look better physically, but then there's some places where it's hard to tell because I think like 2/3 of the cornerbacks on their roster are dinged up and aren't out there right now, which I imagine Tennessee's offense is probably teeing off on a daily basis, knowing those guys. I don't think Cedric Tillman's type to be like, oh, your best guys aren't here, so I'll just run 3/4 routes today. I mean, that's not how they go. So I think that there's places where they need to get better across the field, and that's on both sides of the ball. But I keep looking at the defense. That, to me, is the place where, as long as Heupel has been coaching football, his offenses have been exceptional. They are really, really good. They go fast like Ricky Bobby. They put points on the board. They do all those things. Defensively, last season, they were okay at times. I mean, I think Tim Banks is a pretty sharp guy. I think they did a decent amount with what they had. They just didn't have a lot. And so, they blitzed a lot. They brought a lot of pressure. They gave up a lot of big plays. They need to be more consistent defensively. And to be frank, they need better players defensively. I think they've signed some, but they're going to have to develop them. And that, to me, is the question of how far this team goes next season. I think offensively, Heupel's there, Golish is there, Halsley's there. They're going to be just fine. Defensively, they got to keep getting guys. They got to keep getting a little bit better. And even in an offensive era, the football is now, they've got to do a better job of getting stops here and there. And that's going to be a process. And they're going to have to prove that to me. Now, it's not the job to prove it to me. It's the job to prove it to their coaches and everybody else. But I think in terms of me saying, will they take a step forward on defense, I need to see more. Because until they do that, they're going to be a really, really fun team that's really fun to watch, but wins about 7-8 games. If they want to get better than that, they got to play better defense.
Wes Rucker of 24/7 Sports with us here on Main Street Sports today. Tennessee Vanderbilt, 6:00 Friday at Hawkins Field. That game can be seen on ESPN2. 7:00 Saturday night on the SEC Network. 1:00 Sunday finale on SEC Plus. Should be a lot of fun. Wes, are you coming down?
I am planning to, yes. I know Vanderbilt's got a small press box, so there have been some questions about which media is getting in and not getting in. I think I'm pretty sure we ought to be able to get in. So I think I am planning to be there, and it's good because my sister lives in Brentwood, so I'll get to see her some, and it'll be a fun weekend between two teams and two fan bases who really don't like each other, which for me makes it all the more enjoyable because I think sometimes the hate is the best part of sports in some ways. So I'm looking forward to it.
This coming from a Cubs fan. Small press boxes,
Who
small.
lives to hate the Cardinals.
Yeah, small press boxes, small parks. Hey, it'll all play out this weekend, I guess. UT Vanderbilt in Nashville.
Not a lot of breathing room and a lot of chest to chest. Looking forward to it.
There we go. Wes Rucker, 24/7 Sports with us here on Main Street Sports today. Wes, again, we appreciate you taking some time with us and hope to catch up with you soon.
Anytime, guys. Y'all know that. See ya.
All right. When we come back, we've got a few things we need to check off the list, a couple of different topics. So we will get to that in just a few minutes. So come back here on Main Street Sports Today. Be back after this. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Tune into a guy that always has to take. It's Casey's Take on Sports Wednesdays at noon. The podcast drops on Main Street social media channels and wherever you get your podcast. The Titans, the Vols, yeah, he'll have something to say about this weekend's baseball series. Local high school sports, Dixon and Cheatham counties. It's his own backyard there, and Casey's Take on Sports weekly on these Main Street media social platforms. Each Wednesday at noon, Casey's Take on Sports. But the guys have a couple of takes of their own. Back to Mo and Chris.
So if in the event that you are wanting to be a high school official, softball could use some apparently, Mo.
Not so fast, my friend.
Not so fast?
Yeah. So go ahead and clean up your reference. And then
all right.
And then I'll play Paul Harvey here.
Page Athletics tweets earlier today, tonight's home softball game is canceled, and they were scheduled to play Spring Hill due to a
Which one? It wouldn't have been canceled because it's a district game.
Right. It's postponed, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah. Due to a shortage in officials. That is the tweet.
From Page's softball or Page Athletics, which is Page's home game. However, after further review, Spring Hill was not available. Spring Hill is on spring break, as are all of the Murray County public schools this week. Spring Hill wasn't available to play.
Nothing to do with officials.
Nothing.
Interesting. You know,
it's highly interesting because
so the district sets these schedules.
I
right?
guess.
And so the rest of the district is all Williamson County except
no District 8 triple.
That's right.
838. That's Orange County, Tullahoma, Marshall County,
Lincoln County,
mm-hmm.
and Page.
I think it's 7 teams in there, but yeah.
So they just failed to realize that Spring Hill was on spring break, I guess.
And Spring Hill failed to realize Spring Hill was on spring break, I guess.
Until today.
Oh, by the way,
we're not coming.
We've got folks that aren't here. But I'm disappointed that officials were scapegoated in this situation because there is clearly a shortage of officials. I mean, we've got an article up on the website mainstreetmurray.com right now about the football games for the 2022 season that have been moved to Thursday nights to try to alleviate some of the football officials shortages. And this isn't it's not just a football issue. And clearly,
Right.
There have been and there will be softball and baseball games that are impacted by the lack of officials, but this one wasn't one of them.
At every level, including the 10U and 13U levels, where you have to sometimes do games by yourself for 6 to 8 hours a Saturday.
You got paid. Stop it. Stop whining.
I did get
Stop
paid.
whining. Stop whining.
I'm just saying.
You didn't mind.
I would take $33 instead of $66 to have some help. I know that sounds crazy, but I would.
It does.
Anyway,
but yeah, I don't know how that narrative got created. Or I do know how. I know exactly how. I don't know why.
There you go.
That narrative got created, and like I said, it's a little disappointing. But
perhaps it was a chance to drum up some recruiting efforts. I don't know.
Maybe so. At any rate, that Page game will now be played April 23rd. Thanks to Lady Raiders coach Angelina Martinez for sending me an updated schedule.
There you go.
So,
in other high school news, earlier today it was announced that Franklin girls basketball coach Jay Johnson has stepped down.
He informed his team today that after 3 seasons, he is stepping down as girls basketball coach. Led the Lady Admirals to a 31-49 record over the past 3 years after taking over for current Summit coach John Wild. So Franklin went 17-13 this year, losing in the region 6-4A quarterfinals to Summit. But in a previous life, Jay coached the Franklin boys basketball team. His alma mater won a state championship as a player back in '89, spent 10 years as the boys basketball coach, starting in the 03-04 season, 200 plus wins, 621 seasons, 130-win season before the decision was made, that infamous decision to go in a different direction.
And they did?
Yeah. So, and instead of them telling him he was leaving, he told them he was leaving this time, and congratulations to him.
Certainly be interested to see where the Admirals go in this particular search.
Yeah.
The nationwide search that I'm sure that is about to commence.
Certainly.
Well,
actually, it would not surprise me if they stay pretty close to home.
Well, speaking of nationwide searches, we make fun of that sometimes, but Grace Franklin goes all the way to the Pacific Northwest to get a football coach. So
wasn't that something? Goodness gracious.
There's that. I thought that was, it's funny because, again, we do kind of poke fun at the nationwide search, but in reality, right now in Middle Tennessee, you can actually do a nationwide search
because so many people want to be here for whatever reason.
Yeah, Bobby Miller, who was the head football coach and dean of students at Life Christian Academy in Tacoma, Washington. So,
how many schools did he come past?
Quite a few
to get to Grace Christian in Franklin / Hillsborough / Leapers Fork.
Yeah. And Cody Nelson, former Harding Academy football coach, will be an assistant and the middle school baseball coach. He led Harding Academy the past 2 seasons and went 2-9 overall in 2 seasons.
Former Brentwood Academy quarterback, Cody Nelson.
So,
yeah.
There you go. According to our colleague Donovan Stewart, there are still 11 schools without football coaches in Tennessee. 11
on March 29th.
I mean, I understand Tennessee High, I get that. You hired a coach, then he left.
No.
But Chucky Doak, Gibson County, Glencliff, Hillcrest, Kenwood, Manassas, Midway at Webb School, and White House Heritage and White Station, all still needing football coaches. So
Interesting.
certainly is. And finally, we've been trying to get this in for the last week or so.
Not quite. Not quite.
What,
a week.
Thursday.
Mhm.
David Cutcliffe has a new gig after being unceremoniously told to leave North Carolina.
Supposedly, it was a mutual decision that he stepped down
Well, good then.
as coach at Duke. I'm not sure how mutual it was. But,
Nonetheless.
yeah, at any rate, David Cutcliffe is no longer at Duke, but he is now special assistant to the commissioner for football relations of the Southeastern Conference. Will provide guidance to the SEC Commissioner's Office for the purpose of enhancing the overall quality of football competition in the SEC in areas including game management, communications, playing rules, national policies, and scheduling best practices. I just think anytime you've got an opportunity to add David Cutcliffe to your organization, you're going to be better for it.
That is a brain that you should always be trying to pick.
No doubt.
I mean, seriously, that's the facts. If he's around and he wants to be around you, you let him be. You let him.
You let him.
So, kudos to the Southeastern Conference and Greg Sankey for bringing Cut back into the fold over here in the Southeastern Conference. I'm sure he'll. I don't know. I wonder. This is probably a position you can do from Zoom, so he's probably at the house. He probably ain't moved to Birmingham or nothing.
Well, but I mean, he is from there, right?
Yeah, he is.
So
He is.
there could be worse places.
There are worse places. I've lived in them. All right, let's take a halftime break here, and when we come back, we will talk about, in the second half, we will get to the NFL a little bit, Chip Walters, and Top 5 Tuesday. So y'all stick around. We'll be back after this. This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
Other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama. So other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice. Welcome back in. It is halftime, and I want to talk a little bit about some television. I started watching last night and binged the heck out of it. Reacher on Amazon Prime. It is I've
heard about it.
It's a television adaptation of I believe it wasn't from a novel of some sort. I know that there was a Tom Cruise movie where he played Jack Reacher, which is a Tom Clancy character, but this show is not a Tom Clancy novel. It's just using the Tom Clancy character, probably for marketing purposes, because Reacher was such a big movie.
Makes sense.
But the cool thing about it is one of the main characters in the show is Willa Fitzgerald. And Willa Fitzgerald is a Yale educated
Okay.
and Harpeth Hall educated actress
Sounds like Reese Witherspoon.
who on the show, the last show that I watched, took her beer bottle and opened it on the counter. And I'm like, Yale educated and still knows how to open her beer bottle. Now that's
Good for her.
impressive.
Good for her.
You can tell she's from Middle Tennessee. That's all I'm saying.
Gotta like it.
So yeah, she was in Royal Pains, which one of my favorite shows from back in the day in the USA Network. But yeah, just really, really cool because I was like, this girl looks so familiar. And so when I realized she was on Royal Pains, on Amazon, they have X-ray, so you can kind of go through their IMDb right there on the screen. And it said a native of Nashville, and I thought, what?
There you go.
So I had to look her up.
We're everywhere, huh?
Seriously,
there's always a Nashville connection.
The show is about Jack Reacher, who shows up in this little podunk town in Georgia where Blind Blake, the blues singer, allegedly played his last show and died. So he's a big blues fan, and so he's kind of just going down and to visit. And well, when he gets there, there's murders start popping off, and they arrest him, and then
Mayhem.
It's nuts, of course,
Yeah.
right? So anyway,
Mayhem makes for a good story.
great show.
Chaos.
Yes.
Yes, it is a phenomenal show. You guys should watch it. Amazon Prime Video, and check out Willa Fitzgerald at Willa Fitz on Twitter. The Harpeth Hall product.
Okay. I like it.
Let's take another quick break because we do want to get to what's happening in the owners meeting in the National Football League. So stick around.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Time to flip the field. Second half of Main Street Sports today. Chip Walters of the Blue Raider Network will be joining us later on in the program. Also, Top 5 Tuesday, Overrated Foods. Overrated Foods. Big surprise that we're talking about food. And little NFL conversation, the Titan Stadium deal. More on that. We heard from from Joe Rexroad yesterday on that topic and more. So let's kick it off. Second half action. Back to Mo and Chris.
Yes, welcome back as we get into the National Football League. There was an agreement today on the future of the overtime rules in the National Football League. There has been a change, but it's only for the postseason currently. Now, the last time they made a change, it also was only for the postseason, and they eventually made its way to the regular season, and that's what we have now. Essentially, what this does is it guarantees both teams a possession. Now, there's very little other than that as far as information available from TennesseeTitans.com. But my assumption is that it's the playoff scenario that I've been trying to push for a while, is both teams get a possession, and then after that, it's sudden death. Mm-hmm. But my question is, why do we always start with the postseason, the most important games of the year? Why are we not starting with the regular season and then if it works, go to the postseason? We're doing something completely different in the most important games of the year. This is really weird.
But you're addressing the most important games.
I understand that, but if you're going to do it for the most important, why would you not do it for the least important?
Well, because that makes too much sense.
I don't understand this. This is blowing my mind. I'm just saying. I don't understand that. And they did this last time. So I guess it's just, MO. That's their modus operandi. But
I think part of it is lengthening the game with these new rules. And what they don't want to do is lengthen regular season games.
Because there's so many of them.
Yeah. So I think that's, I firmly believe that's at the crutch of it is they just, and I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the different overtime rule in the playoffs than in regular season.
Oh, I am too. This is
every league
I'm
has
looking for.
Every league almost has, or several have different rules. Postseason, regular season. I mean, hockey.
Oh yeah. I mean, you
play until somebody scores.
I mean,
you have to do that in hockey just because it's a series, and so, and the same. I don't know that the overtime has to be changed in the postseason because you have an overtime that works. This would just be a more equitable overtime.
According to Jim Wyatt, who obviously writes for TennesseeTitans.com, since the previous playoff format was implemented in 2010, 7 of the 12 overtime games were won on the opening possession.
7 of the 12?
7 of the 12.
Wow. That's more than I thought.
10 of those 12 were won by the team who won the coin toss. So even if they didn't score on their first possession, they still ended up winning the game 10 out of 12 times. That's a lot. Because that second possession is just as uneven, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
What this does now, though, is it makes the coin toss a really interesting move because you can take the ball and the defense, the other team would know what they have to do in order.
Meaning you would want to play defense first.
Maybe, but after the first 2 possessions.
Kind of like the college.
But after the first 2 possessions, it's sudden death. So do you want to be the third team to get the ball? Yes. Right?
If you get to that.
Or do you play defense and just go for 2 if you score a touchdown? If they score a touchdown and you score a touchdown, you just go for 2, win or lose.
I think I need my Herm Edwards soundbite. You play
to win
the game. So I don't think you, on the coin toss, I think you go defense first, just like the college mentality. So you know what you've got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because
but there's only one time of that.
Yeah, but
because if you end up having to kick a field
goal.
goal.
Okay, so here's the question: are you flipping again?
No, that's it.
Okay,
it's
there's one flip,
and then 10 minutes or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So if I get the first possession of overtime and we both score, then I'm going to get the ball back.
And then it's sudden death. That's where the strategy comes in.
I don't know. I still think I'm with JP because I know that if you only kick a field goal, all I've got to do is score a touchdown. If you score a touchdown and kick an extra point, then
I got to score a touchdown.
I gotta score a touchdown, and I can go for 2. Or if I'm feeling good about my defense, I can tie it again and then force you to score again or hold you.
I think my hesitation would be they kick a field goal, and then I'm 4th and 3 from the 27. What do I do? Because I'm definitely giving them the ball back if I kick the field goal, or I can lose the game on 4th and 3 at the 27.
That's why these coaches make so much money.
That is mine.
But I like this because it brings into play a lot of options.
A lot more strategy.
Yes, a lot of strategy.
Which is why I've been trying to, get this passed for years.
Yep. So. Good job.
Somebody listened to our show. It must have been Indianapolis. It was the Colts and Philadelphia that amended that rules.
Really?
Well, you know, the Titans put that they put forth the 2-point conversion rule or
Mhm.
whatever, and forcing.
That's
So-
a lot easier to put forth when you got 22 in the backfield, right?
isn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, there's that. And then yesterday we kind of talked about the stadium deal. And honestly, I don't know how they're planning to fund the deal, but my
Hotel tax would be my suggestion.
that's where I was going. Would it not
Oh,
be
yeah.
would it
Oh,
not be
absolutely.
smarter to just
Tax
say,
people who don't live here.
Uh-huh.
and that's the thing. That's how you can sell it to the general public in Nashville.
It's
who
not going
just
to affect you unless you're
staying
in
in
hotels.
hotels. And if you do, that's your
Yeah.
choice.
Right.
So I think that's the way you sell it to the general public is we're not raising your property taxes. This is going to come from the tourism tax. And it's pretty easy to, I mean, Nashville right now, pretty easy to pay back $500 million
You would think.
over 30 years in tourism.
Yeah.
Especially considering how many people are going to be here year around for the
Various
tourist
activities.
activities in the building.
In that
Yeah,
building.
you're building something that's going to generate that income.
Exactly. Not that you need anything to generate it right now. I mean, but in 10,
But by
10,
simple
15
proxy,
Sure.
Exactly.
building that stadium, thus tourism tax will come.
So that's how you have to
Cornfield or no cornfield, they will
They
come.
will come.
And building it closer to the interstate. What do you think about that?
I'm trying to figure out where closer to the interstate
So
is.
Just
that was my
As opposed to
question,
closer
too.
to the river?
Yes.
That you're right on. That you're
On-
right next to.
It's
No,
on
yeah,
that side,
yes,
though, right?
absolutely.
So next to the stadium that currently stands, right?
Correct. That's where it would sit. Is it would sit between the interstate and the current Nissan Stadium.
Is this
my
so?
understanding?
So the secondary entertainment district can be actually on the river. Is that the idea?
I would think so.
They can line the
Once-
river with entertainment.
Once
That
you
makes sense.
once you get this new facility built, and you get that old facility
torn down
torn
Mhm.
down, then you've got that space.
That makes sense.
for both parking. Hopefully, hopefully there's some parking involved. Okay,
And some on-site.
activities.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh.
Thank you.
And so I think that's a great plan as far as what their thought process here. The problem is that while you're building and you're playing, there is nowhere to
parking.
park now because you have
Mm.
completely taken lot B and you put a football stadium there.
Uh,
So now you're forced to. It's the only parking you have, really, and it's gone. So then what? That 2 years that it's going to take is going to be, and then really 3 years because you got to tear down Nissan and then do something with that lot.
But tearing down Nissan won't be as detrimental, I don't think, as building
No,
the
no,
new facility.
no. You're right, but you still have to. They're not just going to pave paradise and put a park. I mean, they're not going to just tear it, blow it up and then pave it over like they
Mhm.
did Fulton County.
Sure.
The reason being because you have to prep it for
Whatever's going
the
in there
future.
next. Yeah.
So it's going to be. I don't even know if that's going to be parking. It may not be. It may be live work space. Who knows?
Live workspace. Is this guy millennial or what?
yeah.
Mixed use development.
Thank
Makes
you.
use.
Thank
Much
you.
like, Geodis Stadium
Mhm.
over the fairgrounds.
Or much like, Truist
Yes.
and the Battery.
Much like the Battery and Truist Park, which I hope is exactly what they're thinking.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause-
it would make sense.
It certainly would.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's take a break. We need to talk to Chip Walters because Middle Tennessee State is riding high after finally getting an OT win. Took the women to get one, but they got one. So we'll be back after this with Chip Walters. Stick around. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today here on the Main Street Media Network. As it is a network.
It is.
We have 15 cross post avenues now.
Well, and we have
Pretty exciting.
multiple
Podcasts.
live shows.
Live shows. All kind. Oh, man.
Yeah, if you can't find us,
You're not looking.
You're not looking. That's right.
don't be lazy.
Chip Walters is awaiting his chance to talk, but he's in the car looking cool, got his shades on. It's not nighttime yet, but Chip, what's going on, man? Where are you headed?
Headed to the Plateau for baseball this afternoon or early evening.
I didn't know if you were selling a house.
Well, I just left a listing appointment and in Gladeville and heading to Cookeville now for Middle and Tennessee Tech. So I'm crossing the Caney Fork for the first of several times.
So Tennessee Tech and the return of Steve Smith. Is that right?
Matt Braga.
Matt Braga. I'm sorry, who replaced Steve Smith? Yes, the return of Matt Braga, former Tech, former Rice, current Tech coach. Yeah. What are you expecting out of this one, Chip? The
thing that I expect on a Tuesday night when both teams are going into the third week of their conference season, I expect Johnny Allstaff will play a pivotal role for both sides. Typically, you're trying to figure out your midweek pitching, and by doing that, you typically will throw a lot of guys to see who you can trust on the weekends. So that's kind of what my expectation is. Mills coming off winning 2 out of 3 in Birmingham. Tech had a non-conference series this past weekend, but they on Saturdays had an 11-run 8th inning, and that's one thing that I've seen in just kind of glancing at some of their stats is that they have, one thing that Matt has brought back to them is they can hit the baseball. And once I get up here and get set up and figured out which way the wind's blowing today, because, it is blowing today, no matter where you are in the mid-state. So it could have an effect on this one. And hopefully it doesn't get super cool. Pitching and
that was fun.
We'll try to get him back. He's jumping towers. I think he's back. Here we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, I mean, when you're traveling from Gladeville to the
To
plateau,
Cookville,
we're not surprised.
Not really. Not really. Middle going into this game at Tech with a 10-12 record overall. And I was looking for our guy, Jaden Ham, who won't likely see action tonight, I don't guess. 2-2 on the year with a save. 9 appearances, giving up a .232 batting average, 24 strikeouts and 25 and a third for the Columbia Central sophomore. So he's continuing to give the Blue Raiders some good work.
Yes, he is, Mo. He's doing great.
yeah, apparently.
Big story though is obviously women's basketball right now, and
no question.
And they are back. They did make it back home. Here they had a 3 a.m. wake up call in Toledo this morning to get to the Detroit airport. Got home, hopefully getting a nap in, and we'll have practice at 5 o'clock today. It'll be open to the public, as most of Coach Ensel's practices are, and get everything who had a road win this night. The Columbia Lions, of all people.
Say that again.
I said Seton Hall had a road win against the Columbia Lions last night.
I did not realize their nickname was Lions.
They certainly are.
Well, that's one time we don't mind seeing the Columbia Lions lose, I don't guess. But big game Thursday night, and it's back at the Glass House as MTSU will take on Seton Hall.
It is. Tickets went on sale. Matter of fact, as soon as they knew the game was going to be in Murfreesboro, tickets went on sale. It's the Final Four of the WNIT. Tickets are $20 if you go to goblueraiders.com/tickets. They encourage you to purchase online, and that way you won't be in any real line except to show your tickets on your phone when you come in the building on Thursday night. That is by far the most efficient way to do it.
Lady Raiders, the last NCAA Division I basketball team, men or women, standing in the state of Tennessee. So, this 5 o'clock open practice, great opportunity to get out and kind of show some support for them, or you can just go to Thursday's game.
That's right. And, we're fortunate that Middle's men was the last men's team in the state still standing. And now the last women's team, and now men or women's team. And, now that they've won 4 games in the postseason, this is the most that Middle women have ever won in the game. Then the championship of the WNIT is Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock Central Time somewhere. Why not Murfreesboro?
TBA, but not Thompson Bowling Arena.
No, did not realize until I looked a couple of rounds ago, I guess, that the WNIT was a 64 team tournament. Kind of feels like they've been playing for
a minute
ever.
Yeah, it does. And they've been averaging about 2 games a week since the conference tournament, and won 3 straight at home, then made the trip to Toledo. And what a heck of a game last night. Courtney Whitson got them off to a great start, and Anastasia Boldreva just put them on her shoulders to finish up. And that game, and then in overtime, just gutted it out in front of a very, very loud crowd in Toledo, over 4,000 there for that one.
Loud and a bit hostile. I mean, it was certainly a partisan crowd there, but I was particularly impressed with Boldreva, as I figured out from listening to the broadcast crew on ESPN Plus last night, or ESPN3, whatever it was. 28 points was a career high for her after she sat virtually the entire second half of that win over Vanderbilt on Thursday night.
That's right. And so, you see so many kids where they have some difficulty like she had against Vanderbilt with fouls and ended up sitting out, to come back and really, be superbly focused, which she obviously was. And she just went to town when she got the ball in the block and just was very efficient in what she did. And she was a huge part of, not only just last night, but what they've done all year.
6'6" Anastasia Boldreva. And I thought it was interesting, Chip. I feel pretty sure you watched most of the game last night. Vanderbilt sent a double team at her pretty much whenever she got the ball in the paint. It didn't look like Toledo doubled her nearly as much, and I pretty well paid for it.
Yeah, I think that's right, and I would agree with you that you with her you do have to kind of pick your poison. If you bring a double team, then she's going to have the ability to pass out of it. But like you mentioned, she had foul trouble in the Vandy game, and I think I thought Vanderbilt's defense was outstanding in the middle game. Middles was just as good, or maybe just one more play better than theirs at the end of the ball game. And but with Boldreva, I think they tried to play her straight up last night, and she has skill enough with the ball in her hands to that she did make them pay to the tune of 28.
Or skill enough to just get a hand on the final shot attempt from the Lady Rockets and just make sure that it didn't quite go in.
Up. Yep. She nice play from behind on that play. Chip Walters, the voice of the Blue Raiders, with us here on Main Street Sports today. Traveling up 40 East.
Chip.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Did you start your day at Pro Day this morning?
No, I did not get over to Pro Day, but I did get a report from our stringer, Mr. Mark Owens. He said it was
what information you have.
Well, the best information that, and I got a limited report, but was that it was well attended, and that everybody did well, but it seemed, as you might expect, DQ Thomas, linebacker, and safety Reed Blankenship really showed out, and yeah, those two guys, they're two of the best guys as far as men to ever put that uniform on at middle, and you just can't wait to see them, have success at the next level. But you knew if they were given an opportunity to prepare for Pro Day and get a chance for others to see them, you just knew they were going to do well. And from what Mark Owens told me, that they both stood out today.
Well, hopefully they can become the next Charvarius Ward.
Well,
he recently signed as a free agent with the San Francisco 49ers after previously spending some time with the Chiefs. So
that's correct. And Charvarius has a little bit fatter piggy bank now after that move.
No doubt. Yeah, good for him. Chip, what else do we need to know? What else you need to catch us up on before we let you go?
One last thing. Put on your calendar June 4th at 4:30 p.m. That'll be the celebration of life of Dean Hayes, and it will be at the Turkey Soccer Stadium. 4th at 4:30, and that'll be a great day.
Yes, that's right. 4:30 at predictably at
Hayes Stadium.
At Hayes Stadium. Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah. Chip, man, thank you so much for taking some time with us. We appreciate it. As always, enjoy your trip to the Plateau, and I guess hope you'll bring home a win.
You can catch us tonight on the Varsity app at 5:45.
There you go.
Should be fun. Chip Walters, the voice of the Blue Raiders on the Blue Raider Network. We have top 5 overrated foods coming your way on the other side of a break, and this ought to be fun. So, y'all stick around. We'll be back after this. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Main Street Preps editor Russell Vadozzi and lead writer Tyler Palmatier. Weekdays, actually weeks, every Wednesday. I'll put it out there correctly at some point. Every Wednesday, as they preview the biggest high school sports news from around Middle Tennessee. It airs Wednesdays at 1 p.m. archived on social media on all of our Main Street media platforms or wherever you get your podcast. It's Main Street Preps this week with Russell Vanozzi, Tyler Palmatier. They are joined, Chris and Mo, this week by FRA AD Chris Palmerton. They've had a couple of additions to their coaching staff, so they get his take on that. That'll be out tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central.
Chris Palmerton with a K.
Correct.
Good dude.
He was excited with what's happened this week.
Oh,
in the last couple of weeks.
As he should be, I think.
what happened? Why is he excited?
Tune in tomorrow to find out.
Good plan.
Yeah. There you go.
Do I have to, though?
If you want to find out, yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll listen then. Yep. Hey, it's Top 5 Tuesday and the top 5 overrated foods. We're about to make some folks angry. I got a feeling.
Oh, no question.
But to make some folks mad.
If you and JP don't, I'll probably create enough anger for all of us. So.
If you think that controversy sells, this is the most controversial.
Yeah, this will be a segment for you.
I'm telling you, you better be careful here because it's I don't know that there's everything on my list is. I don't know that anybody in here is going to disagree with anything except my number one. I'll be interested.
Oh, you know I'm going to disagree with your number one because I know what your number one is.
This is hard for me because there's not a whole lot of food I don't
you
like.
Don't like. I was gonna say, but it doesn't have to be that you don't like it. It's just not as great as everyone says it is.
Boom. That's the thing. I mean, I've got one thing on here that I don't like, but the rest is like it's okay, but It's not great.
It's not. Why are you acting like this is liquid gold or whatever? It's not.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll start. My number 5 is avocados in any form. Oh, let's first do this. Mid-South 5 Fitness. Need to pay some bills. Mid-South 5 Fitness brings you our top 5 each and every week. Dallas Steele, SteelAthletes.com, @SteelAthletes on Instagram. Follow him. Check him out. 2 great locations. One in Franklin, one right here in Columbia. Again, avocados in any form. My number 5. I don't want sliced avocado. I don't want mashed up avocado in guacamole. I don't want
Is it guacamole without avocado?
No,
that's my point.
That's the entire point.
I don't want avocado in any form.
I will not eat it, Sam. Yeah.
I don't like green avocados or.
So you just told me this is based on not necessarily what you don't like,
but he doesn't like avocado.
But he doesn't like avocado.
Sure.
And everybody else does, apparently.
And I can that probably should have been on my list, but I stay away from it to the point that it didn't even register. but I do not like guacamole on tacos. And I'm not seeing the fascination necessarily with tacos. Tacos are my number 5.
That's because you've not had any from Victor down here. It's Taco Tuesday, by the way. Victor's tacos are delicious. I love a street taco. I'm all for street tacos.
And again, this goes back to your disclaimer at the start. It's not that I don't like tacos. I'm just not in love with tacos.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. JP, do you have a number 5?
Yeah, pico de gallo. Condiments.
Golly, we went hard on the food south of the border.
Well, hey, at least it was just number 5.
That's true.
We didn't go real hard.
It's interesting because you say that, and I mean, I'm very Switzerland on pico. Like I'm good with it either way.
I'm not a big pico guy, but I do love some queso. So I mean,
there's that. If pico is like on my plate, I might take a chip and. If it's part of the salad that comes with your rice and beans or whatever with a meal, then sure.
Yeah. The biggest thing for me in the pico is the cilantro.
Are you one of those people that tastes like soap?
A little bit, yeah. I get a weird taste with cilantro.
That sucks because I love cilantro. Yep. I want all the cilantro. I'm going to continue the trend here, and this should be higher on my list, really. But Chipotle, anything at Chipotle, period. And I know AJ Brown is saying, that's my man.
That should be higher.
that should be number 1.
It's number 1 for AJ Brown. Yeah.
I just don't give me anything from Chipotle. I don't want it. I don't want to be nowhere near it. Moe's, Southwest, all the way.
Yeah.
Come on.
Chipotle should have been on my list. Again, this isn't necessarily food that I don't like. It's just food that I'm not over the top about. Ham. I like ham, but my mom makes it a weird way. So that's kind of, I only want to eat my mom's ham. I don't want to like sliced ham. Sliced ham is not great. Honey glazed maybe. Again, it's not bad.
I'm choosing it over turkey.
Great.
Ham over turkey?
If it's, just regular baked turkey. That
if it's Sherry's ham.
Or if it's Sherry's turkey. Oh, she ain't. I know my dad's watching right now. Don't tell Mom I just said that.
You said folks were going to hate us.
Actually, I don't know that my mom's ever made a turkey.
Well, and thank goodness.
Because she always makes ham. So anyway.
Okay.
Ham, that's a good one.
JP, you're number 4.
Corn on the cob.
I love corn on the cob in the crawfish bowl.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll eat it, and I like to grill it.
Yep.
And if I grill it, I'm probably gonna eat it. But it's not. It gets stuck in your teeth.
It's one of the last things that I will go for.
Yeah, let everybody else have it if they want it, and if there's some left, I might grab it.
Now, my lovely wife loves corn on the cob, and the flavor's good. I don't mind it, but it's I don't know. It's
hard to eat.
Yeah,
it gets stuck in your teeth. Yeah. And it gets messy.
You look like an animal trying to eat it.
Exactly.
It's they're just and
And
there's
if you're not
nothing wrong with
careful, you
that.
get it all over you.
Yeah, I mean you got to be in the right setting.
I agree.
Maybe outside, a crawfish boil or shrimp boil.
Where
where you
a barbecue.
Yeah, where you can just stand over and eat, and you're outside. The
where you
dogs
can-
can eat up.
You can eat like this.
Yeah,
You got to lean over.
that's right. Get a hunch.
Make sure the butter just falls on the ground instead on you.
Much like we repicked our NCAA bracket, can I repick my top 5?
He's like, man, this is all shit. Which it's funny because I'm like, this is kind of. I mean, when you say something, you go,
Yeah.
I get that. I
Yeah,
can see that. So maybe
absolutely.
this is not as controversial as we first thought.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see if anybody else feels the way we do, though.
Yeah.
You're number 3.
Asparagus. I mean, it's a lot
here's
of
the thing.
Oh, look, I made this asparagus. I don't know how to cook asparagus, so I don't want to eat asparagus.
I don't know that asparagus is overrated.
Yeah, I don't think it's highly enough to be overrated.
Are you kidding me? Like every time you see somebody's cooked a steak at the house, what do they got on the side? Dang baked potato and asparagus. Almost every time now. People are eating asparagus like crazy. At least people my age. I don't know.
Well, there we go.
Millennials.
Well, my last 3 have been very millennial-esque.
Yeah.
In avocados, Chipotle, and asparagus.
My number 3, again, it's not that I don't like it. It's just that I don't necessarily love it, or I have to be in the mood for it. Ice cream.
No, I can't agree with you on that. That's crazy.
You just threw a big wet blanket over all ice cream, Mo?
Just ice cream.
Yeah. Particularly vanilla ice cream, I
I
guess.
want all. That's my favorite. What you talking about?
No, if I'm getting some ice cream, it's not vanilla. Unless it's in a hot fudge cake like I had Saturday up at Snow White in Lebanon.
That sounds good.
Oh, man.
Or on top of some pecan pie or apple pie or whatever.
There's that. Yeah. But it's like a side dish.
I want all the vanilla. I'm a weird dude. I love vanilla ice cream. It's my favorite flavor ice
Vanilla's
cream.
good.
I
Yeah,
love
there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with liking vanilla.
I'm never going to go somewhere. And I mean, if I go to like Baskin Robbins or Kilwins in downtown Franklin or something like that,
if I'm going
never
there.
going to order
Vanilla
ice cream.
Speaking of, Dickies took their soft serve machine out. It's the only reason I went to Dickies.
I'm not a big soft serve person anyway.
I love soft serve. I want an ice dream cone from Chick-fil-A right now.
Scoop it.
Anyway, JP.
All right, number 3. Those I wouldn't call them meal plans, but things you can order that come. You put them in the freezer, or Daily Harvest in particular,
or HelloFresh.
Oh yeah. Now I can only speak to the Daily Harvest. This may be 3, 2, and number 1. Some of the worst food I've ever eaten in my life.
Now we had a HelloFresh delivered to our place.
Yeah.
And
How was that? You actually cooked that though, right?
Exactly. You cook it. So it was like they just give you the ingredients. You actually have to do all of the things to make the meal. And that was not fun. So I didn't love that. I'm going to be honest with you. Anyway, but Daily Harvest. Don't eat their food.
Oh, it is.
There went that ad.
Yeah.
Don't eat their food. Gotcha.
Somebody was working on a Daily Harvest package for our show.
There's no question. It's definitely happened.
Yeah.
My number 2, lobster.
It's a lot of work.
It's not. It's just a fancy way to eat butter.
And there's nothing wrong with that either.
That's true. My number 2 is potatoes.
Again, all potatoes.
All potatoes?
Potatoes in any form.
Mashed
Baked?
in particular, baked to a lesser degree.
If his mashed potatoes doesn't have white gravy on it, he ain't eating it.
That's true.
If they've got brown gravy, he's like, give me something else. But if they got some white gravy, he'll be all right.
We might have a shot. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
That's rough right there.
Number 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number 2. Crawfish.
Throw a bottle at him. I knew it was coming too. He's wrong.
Wow.
No.
And
You
like
say
some
that
crawfish.
after that bag you took home the other day?
I like crawfish. Yep.
But you think it's
I think it's overrated.
because it is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Meat.
It's a lot of work for a little payoff.
I
But
can see that.
A lot of work for
It
a
is
little
a lot
payoff.
of work. It is a lot of work.
Now, part of the work is being around friends.
That's the thing.
Who are also working.
So that's fun, but in terms of just food,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I would ever just go to a place by myself and order crawfish.
Yeah, no.
So
Zero question.
Oh.
We don't even need to get to my number one. My number one's pecan pie.
So I'm just going to throw something at both of you. How's that? My number one is carrot cake.
that was my groom's cake at my wedding.
I love
Seriously?
carrot.
Yeah, love me some
Love
carrot
carrot
cake.
cake.
Cream
I'm
cheese
just-
frosting.
Cream cheese frosting. That's the
Come
thing I
on.
Oh,
like.
you love the frosting.
I love,
Yeah.
but I like the spice cake too.
Yeah.
I will eat the
It
spice
pairs
cake.
well
by
together.
it's
Vegetables have no
perfect.
place in desserts.
Okay, but there's barely any carrot in it at all. It's just spice cake.
Any is too much.
Most overrated foods are vegetables,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
in general.
1 through 5.
Vegetables.
You and Al Michaels. Piece of red meat, bread.
There we go.
That's all I need.
Roll.
What's your number
Give
one?
them a roll. I almost have to go back to the Daily Harvest. Seriously. It's that
so bad.
It's 1 and 3.
It's that bad. Yep.
It is. I can see it. I've been there, but man, that's rough.
Oh, there was and I love mushrooms. There was a mushroom soup, miso mushroom soup. It was just,
You weren't having it, huh?
man.
That's
Oh,
tough. That's tough. Tomorrow, Wild and Wacky Wednesday brings us a fantastic day as we talk a little NASCAR, as always, with Heather Williams of WCYB TV. We'll also have Belmont basketball coach Casey Alexander on the show to talk a little bit about the recap of his Bruins year, but also the future of that program, headed to a new conference and all that goes along with that. So should be a lot of fun, and we'll give you the weirdest and wildest news from across the world. Additionally, we'll talk a little Major League Baseball. There was quite a bit of Major League Baseball news coming out. Free agency grades were given out by The Athletic. David O'Brien had a great piece on the Braves and who's going to be in their starting rotation. So we'll break down that as the Braves are getting close to being 1 week from opening day. Thursday week is. And we'll probably talk a little bit about that Lipscomb-Vanderbilt game that happened tonight. So it's going to be a great show. Y'all come back with us 2 o'clock tomorrow right here on Main Street Sports Today for JP and Mo. I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day. We'll see you then.